go into the sermon. I actually had a sermon already wrote out for this particular Sunday. But however, the Lord decided to change my plans, and he decided he wanted me to go this route. And so I don't know whose season that it is that you are actually going through suffering. And so I don't know if you're suffering any financial crisis or any I want to say unexpected deaths or any terminal illnesses or any job losses or any tragedy. So I'm going to read a little bit from this before I dive into the actual sermon. It says, yes. So it says, each of us is deeply affected by suffering, both as individuals and as communities. When we're stressed and anxiety threaten to overwhelm, or when our hearts ache, we often find ourselves wondering, when will it end? Why me? Or else that why do bad things happen to good people? And it do continue on to say that there are many times that we wonder, plead, or ask for explanations, and seeking to understand why we suffer and further why God allows suffering to continue in our world. Rather, these questions come out of faint, pain-filled moans or frustrated or angry screams. We can find solace, I think the source of the word is, an encouragement for our faith in the biblical story of Job. And to say here, the story of Job exemplifies our struggle to understand the problem of suffering. So Job was upright and unwavering in his commitment to God. Yet he loses everything. His children, his wealth, and eventually his health. For some of us, his experience of suffering resonates profoundly. And so if you are actually in the book of Job, go with me to the Job chapter 1. I'm going to read verse 1 through 5. Here, and so I'm reading for the Message translation. And it reads here, it say, Job was a man who lived in Uz. And to say he was honest inside and out, a man of his word, who was totally devoted to God and hated evil with a passion. And the Bible says that he had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he was also very wealthy. It was mean, in other words, he had money. He was rich. And so within his wealthiness, he had 7,000 heads of sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 teams of oxen, which I'm not going to that. 500 donkeys. And a huge staff of servants. It said servants, not slaves. And so the most influential man in all the East. In verse 4 read, and his sons used to take turns hosting parties in their homes. So Job had party mansions, and so his sons threw like house parties for the whole block. And so his son used to take turns hosting parties in their homes, always inviting their 3 sisters to join them in their merrying making. And so when the parties were over, Job would get up early in the morning and sacrifice a burnt offering for each of his children, thinking that maybe one of them sinned by defying God inwardly. So Job made a habit of this sacrificial atonement just in case they sin. And so we actually see Job was a man that we know that were rich, but however he still took precaution in making sure that his children was covered. The reason why I wanted to talk about this specific point is because I want you to understand how much that he lost. And so he lost all of that wealth that he had. And so this is for someone who's actually in that season of suffering, where you are actually beginning to question God as into why this happened to you. And so some of us may have been the type of person, right, who may have been the one doing all the praying and doing all the fasting for everyone in the family. But this season you're the one who got caught up in the scandal, and so everyone in the church looks at you as if you done robbed the bank, or if that you done killed the president or something. And so when we go into this thing of understanding, so maybe you're the one who maybe so used at going to the grocery store, and you may be the one counting your calories when you're going shopping, and so you want to make sure that you don't pick up I want to say nothing that's too sugary or anything of that nature, if because you're trying to stay healthy, and so you eat the right foods, and so you exercise. Yeah, but then you go to the doctor, and the doctor look at you and tell you, that you got that you got high blood pressure, or you got diabetes, or you got or for example, you never smoked a day in your life, but the doctor tells you that you're the one with lung cancer. And so we all been in certain situations where we all have wanted to ask God, is this some type of joke? Because when we and so here Job was a man of God, and so he was a man who stayed devoted to God. He is a man that made sure that he made the right terms. He went to the church and gave the right sacrifices and all these things. So he did things right by the book. But then all of a sudden, here's a season come into his life where all that he done, all of that he put into, all of that determination that he did, he felt that it had went to waste. And so now I don't know who this is for, but the Lord wanted me to tell you specifically right now that I know you're suffering. And so, I know that you're going inside of a time or season where you got your storm, but the Lord want me to tell you specifically that the reason why I didn't want you to say anything about your suffering is because the Lord said, I'm going to use your time of suffering to build up your faith. I want to use your time of dryness to show you how much of fruitful that I can be into your life. And so if there is anybody going through any sickness or through any illnesses, that I want you to understand that the Lord said, the reason why I'm taking you through this, because I want to be able to build up your faith in me. And so here we are in this moment where we feel like we did everything right by the book. We always made sure that when we went out of dates that we paid, but however that we still got our heart broken. And so when we go through certain things that we don't understand, why did this thing come out this type of way? And so you're probably been the wife that been faithful to your husband, but however you still found out that he cheated on you. And so and so you may be that husband that may be devoted to your one wife, but you still find out that she still sleeping around with other men. And so I want to get into the topic. And so there's a point in your life where you at now where you beginning to question God. Say, are you really the good God? The good God that people say that you are? And so here's Job in this moment where he know he did all that he can do. And so he was so faithful, but then he felt at this point in time, he felt like God has let him down. And so he felt like the people that was trying to sabotage him was actually winning the battle. But if you read throughout these chapters, that you understand that the Lord sent him 3 friends that was there to encourage him throughout this time. And so without those 3 friends, Job specifically kept saying the same thing, which was, oh no, sir, I don't really believe what you're saying to me. It's because, no, you don't understand. I am in the season of suffering. And so I don't know if you're the person where God have been sending you people telling you that he's going to deliver you out. However, you still questioning, now how can this be true if I am still suffering right now? Yeah. And so I want to talk to some people. Yeah, you may be feeling or maybe wondering that why am I going through this? But the Lord want me to tell you specifically that I want you to go through this because I'm going to build up your faith. I'm going to build up your endurance. I'm going to build up your. No, I'm trying to add something into your life. Yeah, and so then the Lord told me to tell you the reason why I want you to go through this because I want to be the one that would actually celebrate with you on your way out. And so there's a scripture that say that even though I walk through the shadows of death, there's a particular scripture that specifically talk about the shepherd being with his sheep throughout the low valleys. And so if you know that scripture, then you know that the shepherd doesn't just walk through the low valleys with them at the beginning or in the middle, but it says that the shepherd comes out with them at the very end. And so the Lord wants to be able to use this time, your sickness or your downfall. And so the Lord want to be able to use this to build you up and to encourage you. Yeah. And so when you see people in that is specifically inside the weight room, when they go lift weights, they don't go in there already with packs of muscles and big and strong, but they go in all puny and weak. And so when they go in, they go in expecting to lift heavy things. So they go in there to expect to lift something, that's worth some greater weight. And so when you begin to push, you'll begin to feel the pressure that's coming against you. And so the reason why the pressure is there is because it is there to build up your muscle. And so there are some muscles that are in your life that the Lord is trying to build up in your life. Yes. And the reason why the Lord wants to build up some muscles into your life is because he wants you to have a more bigger faith. He wants you to have a more stronger heart. He wants you to be more faithful for him. Yeah. And so one of the things I talked about last Sunday, as I talked about the stewardship of growth, because when the Lord allows you to go through things, he doesn't allow you to go through them for no type of reason. And so in my last sermon, I talked about specifically that the Lord allow us, the Lord want us to grow in things. And so not just because he want us to grow by ourselves, but he want us to take those things that we learn and share them, or to pour them out into other people, and so that they can begin to grow as well. And so within this season, within your hardship season, that the Lord allows certain things in your life where to come against you, not be because the enemy tried to defeat you, but the reason why the Jesus gave the enemy the permission to attack Job in the first place is because he knew that he was faithful. And so I need you so I need you to ask yourselves, is the reason why God put me through this season is because he knows that I'm going to be faithful. And so is the reason why the Lord allowed me to go through this is because he know I'm going to come out on top. And so normally, as I have said before about the people with the weights, that the people, so the people who are strong are the people who got the muscles. Yeah. And so the Lord is trying to build up some muscles inside of you. And so the Lord wanted me to tell you that he is going to walk out this thing with you. And so here in Job 42, verse 10 and 11. And so when I read this had really shocked me. So verse 10 from verse chapter 42, I want to read from the Message translation, and it reads, and it says that after Job had interceded for his friends. So I had paused there because what I just read to you was after Job had interceded for his friends. And so if you have been questioning the Lord as for why you've been going through the season you've been going through, this verse here explains specifically that the Lord wanted him to go through with it. And the whole reason why he wanted him to go through with it is because he wanted him to be able to pray for his friends. And the reason why I'm pointing this out, because this messed me up, because when I'm reading it, it said after Job had interceded for his friends. Mm-hmm. But then again, Bud, you have to think to yourself, wait a minute, wasn't Job the one going through the suffering? I said, no, I don't want you to miss that. No, I said, God asking you to do the prayer, but however, you're the one that's suffering. You're the one going through the trials and tribulations. You're the one that's weak and in time of needing to be cared for. But then the Lord continually asking you to pour out, and so I don't know who this is for. But however, the Lord want me to tell you that I am going to take you to a new level. Yeah, and so you may think you're empty. So you may think you're loose, you're useless, or you may think that you don't have anything to offer. But the Lord want me to tell you, but it is at this specific time, as until why I allowed you to go empty is because I got something more to pour into you. I know there's a scripture that say that, and so as I do, we'll continue to read here, and it said after Job had interceded for his friends, it said God restored his fortune and then doubled it. It said all his brothers and sisters and friends came to his house and celebrated, and they told him how sorry they were and consoled him for all the trouble God had brought him. So each of them bought generous housewarming gifts. And so, as you do see this, through all this suffering, as I was just reading the scripture, through all this suffering, God had a reason for your suffering. And so the Lord took your suffering and he allowed you to go through it because he's trying to push something greater out of you. And so when the Lord finally pushed something greater out of you, the other people who you were praying for, the other people who you were fasting for, the other people who you were interceding for, they're also going to be blessed right along with you. And so, as the scriptures say, Job got blessed double time. And so this is time for your season to be blessed double time. And so if you have been going through this suffering, then the Lord wants me to tell you that he is going to deliver you out. That the Lord said that your suffering will not go in vain. And so that he is going to restore to you what the enemy has stole. And so my Bible said, it says that the Lord will restore what the enemy stole from you 7 times over. Yes. And so I just want to say, I just want the Lord to restore me. You will. Yeah, baby, you'll be all right, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, man.
That's right.
The Lord didn't call you for nothing.
Yes.
You'll be all right.
Yes.
You okay? Yeah. Just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Yes. Hallelujah.
Keep doing what you're doing. Okay? Okay. All right? That the Lord wants to bless you 7 times over.
Yes.
So I was asking the Lord to bless me 7 times over, because there are certain seasons that I went through that I didn't even know how the Lord was going to deliver me out. However, I'm lucky to stand here today and to tell you that He has delivered me out.
Yes.
And He brought me out without a scratch. He brought me out without anything, any turmoil or anything. For the scripture say that the Lord will never leave me nor forsake me.
Yes.
And so for anyone that's out there that you may be going through any suffering or any hindrances, please understand that the reason why you're suffering, because the Lord wants to be able to get the glory out of your suffering.
Yeah.
And so when the Lord gets the glory out of your suffering, that the Lord isn't going to bless just you, but He's going to bless others that are around you. He's going to bless other people that's connected to you. He's going to bless other people that even talked about you. So the ones who talked about you, they're going to be celebrating right along with you.
We're going to speak the sevenfold blessings over the people of God, and because we believe that death and life is in the power of the tongue, we believe in the sevenfold blessings. So for those of you who are around here with me, if you could just raise your hands up. For those of you at home, if you could lift your hands and receive these blessings. I speak blessings of health to you and your family. Our God, He still is a healer. He said, I was wounded for my transgressions, bruised for the iniquities. The chastisement of my peace was upon you, and by your stripes you were healed. So we speak healing to you and your family. We speak deliverance from any habits that you may be having in our life. Our God, He is a deliverer. And put your hands over your head. I speak blessings of peace to your mind about anybody, anything that may be getting on your nerves or disturbing you today. I speak peace. And I speak salvation to any friend or loved ones that you may be praying for. And just put your hand over your heart. I speak comfort to any person that's hurting, lonely, bereaved, or confused. And we also speak blessings of finances, debt cancellation, prosperity, economic empowerment to all of God's people according to His riches and glory. And lastly, I speak anointing and promotion in your life to complete your assignment and to move forward in your God-given purpose.